Hello, good morning to one and all. Myself Dr. Atul. I am welcoming you all to my YouTube channel Aradhana Ayur Blog AKN. And also I am welcoming to the new session, that is class number 5, Anatomy. We will be continuing the topics of Sharira, Rachana or Anatomy. So last class we had seen what is Sharira Rachana and what is Sharira, and also we had discussed the anatomy, that is living anatomy, the sections of cadaveric anatomy, that is regional and systemic anatomy, and also we had studied regarding the Shadanga Sharira. So in this we will be continuing that session only. We will be continuing the topics. So before going to the topic, if anyone is new to this channel, please subscribe our channel and also click on the bell button. Click on the enable all notifications so that you get every notification when we upload the new videos. So let's continue our topic. So first of all, we have seen the regional anatomy. What is regional anatomy? Now let's see what is systemic anatomy. Systemic anatomy. So as the name suggests, systemic. So you know many systems are there in our body, like respiratory, nervous system, etc. etc. Many systems are there. So study of the anatomy according to systems like respiratory, nervous, like that, according to system when we study, it is called as systemic anatomy. Very easy. The study of the anatomy according to the systems, that is called as systemic anatomy. And in the last class we had studied that cadaveric is divided into, one is the regional one and one is systemic one. When we study anatomy based on the region, it is called as the regional one. And when we study the anatomy based on the system like respiratory, nervous, pulmonary system, like that, when we study according to system, it is called as the systemic anatomy. The same way we have studied the anatomy is of two types, that is, one is cadaveric and one is living anatomy. So let's see what is living anatomy and what is cadaveric anatomy. So first one is a living anatomy. So everything the name only suggests, living anatomy. So living, just concentrate on this one, it is living anatomy. So when we deal with the study, so I had told that the anatomy is the study of the structural aspect. When we study the structural aspect of the living body, it is called as living anatomy. So it is very easy. Anatomy is the study of the structural aspect of human body. So when we deal with the study of the structural aspect only of the living body, this is living anatomy. So living body, when we study structural aspect of the living body, it is called as the living anatomy. Either so if it is radiograph or endoscopy or any of the examinations. So either through the endoscopy or radiography examination. However, when we study the structural aspect of the living body, we call is a living anatomy. In the same way, the cadaveric also comes. Here we study the anatomy which deals with the study of by using dead body. When we study the same thing by using the dead bodies, it is called as a cadaveric anatomy. We are studying in the living body, the structural aspect in the living body, it is called as living anatomy. When we study the same thing in the dead body, it is called as the cadaveric anatomy. That's the difference, and that is what is called as the living anatomy and the cadaveric anatomy. Let's see the very important portion, that is anatomical position. Anatomical positions. So how we describe an anatomical position, that is very important in syllabus point of view as well as to know knowledge also. So the person should stand. How the person should stand? Anatomical, so in the Viva also they will be asking to show the anatomical position, how you will stand. What is the anatomical position? So describe your anatomical position. So person should stand in the erect position. Standing in the erect position, very important. That is upright position. And how the heads, eyes, hands, that is limbs should be, the head, eyes and toes should be directed anteriorly. Head should be anterior, eye should be anterior, as well as toes should be anterior. So head, eye, toe should be directed anteriorly. Upper limb, that is both the hands, should be hanging by the side of the trunk. Okay, how the hand should be, there is a upper limb, UL, don't write the short forms, you can write upper limb. Okay, it should be hanging, it should be hanging by the side of trunk, by the side of the trunk it should be. And how the palm should be, again the palms should be facing anteriorly. Anteriorly. And the lower limbs should be together. Again the lower limb should be together, it should be together with the feet anteriorly. So it is very easy to show the anatomical position. In the Viva case also it is very important, as well as in the theoretical part and then for the knowledge purpose also it is very important. So it is very easy. That is, first of all, the person should be in the standing position, that you should remember. He should be erect in the standing position. And second one is the head and the eyes and the toes. Important is the toe. Toe should be directed anteriorly, means it should be forward. You can see in the picture also after this simultaneously, the feet, that is the toe is anteriorly and he is in the erect position. Next is the upper limb. So upper limb should be hanging. How? As you can see in the picture, it should be hanging by the side of the trunk. And more importantly, the palms should be anterior. So everything should be anterior. It may be palm, it may be the feet, it may be the toes. Its three parts should be anteriorly facing. Toe, palm and also the feet should be anterior. And he should be in the erect position with the lower limb together and the upper limb hanging by the side of the trunk. So this is the anatomical position. You can see in the picture also, it is very clear. The hands are hanging by the side of the trunk with the feet, palms and also the toes facing anteriorly. Okay. So that was the anatomical position. So many anatomical planes are there, like median plane, sagittal plane, coronal planes, transverse plane, like that many are there. And also sections are there, longitudinal section, transverse section, oblique section. So many terminologies are still there. We will be dealing one by one. So let's see the anatomical planes, because we should understand this to understand the coming when we discuss the bone or discuss the anatomy only. It is very important because we will be saying it is passing through the midline or anteriorly facing, posteriorly facing, superficial, deep, like that words are there which you should be knowing before going to the depth of the anatomy. So anatomical plane. So what is midline? Simultaneously you can make the notes also. Midline, that is it is a vertical, so vertical imaginary line passing through between the eyebrow, tip of the nose, umbilical region, divided into two equal parts. That is a midline. The name only suggests the mid plus line. So it is a line, imaginary line. We can say it's an imaginary line which is passing through the mid part. So if you are considering this as a human body, this as a human body, this as the eyes, and this is the nose, this is the mouth. So an imaginary line passing through the mid part, So this is what we call as the midline. Very easy. If you are considering this as a human body, it is a vertical. So the anything I had told you in the previous video also, this is a vertical line and this is the horizontal one. So anything, the vertical line of, so it's a imaginary line, it's a vertical imaginary line passing through the eyebrows. Two eyebrows are there, between the tip of the nose, between the umbilical region, this is the umbilicus, between the umbilical region. So everything is the mid part, between the eyebrow, nose, mouth, umbilical region. That is what is we call as the midline, and it also divides body into two equal parts. So mid, the name only suggests mid. So it divides into right and left, dividing into two parts. That is called as midline. So some of the planes are there, like median plane, sagittal plane, and also the coronal plane, and also one more is that is transverse plane. So these are the four planes. We will be discussing these four planes in the next video. That is median plane, sagittal, coronal, transverse plane. We will be discussing in the next coming video. So let's see some of the terms. So first one is a superficial. First one is a superficial. The structures which are near to the skin. So we are superficially placed. Structure near to skin. Superficially, structures which are near to the skin. So if it is a object, if it is a skin, this is the black one is the skin. So structures which are present near to the skin, this red part, that is superficially placed. Okay, this is superficially placed. If it is the skin, and this is a superficially placed, and this is the deep. It is superficial, it is deep, because this much down we should come to here. So if it is a skin, this is superficially placed, and this is the deep one. Okay, superficially, deep. This is the superficially and deep. So structures which are away from skin, as I had already said, the structures which are near to the skin, it is called superficial, which are away from the skin but should be in the interior of the body. I had told we have to come this much interior, this much come down, so it is deep. That is deep. Okay, that is all the superficial and the deep. Next we will see what is median and lateral. This we had discussed in the first video. If you have watched that one, you may have know. When we discussed regarding the clavicle, we had told the median and the lateral, medial and lateral. Okay, so medial means I had told the midline. So structures which are near to the midline, which are near to midline. As I had told, if this is a midline, the structure which are present here, that is called as medial. If the structure is present here, this end is the lateral one, and this, if it is near to here, it will call as medial one. Okay, near to midline it is medial, and which are away from midline we call as the lateral one. So today we have studied what is the regional anatomy. Last class we had studied systemic anatomy. What is systemic anatomy we had studied in this one, and what are the anatomical position, how we to describe the anatomical position we have studied, and also the midline, what is midline, and what is the superficial, terms like superficial, deep, medial, lateral we have studied in this class. So we will be discussing the some of the planes, which are 4 planes, that is medial, sagittal, coronal and transverse plane in the next video, along with the continuation of the some of the terms are there that we will be discussing in the next video. Until then, thank you.